Hi, welcome to this edition of Pacific Dialogue. I'm your host, Yun Yun. It's no secret that the world's most important economic relationship is in serious trouble. And things got bad when the Trump administration announced tariff hikes on $150 billion of Chinese products and banned Chinese companies like Huawei and ZTE from either buying or selling products to the U.S. market. China has been forced to respond in kind. What gives? Trump has insisted that protection will lead to great prosperity and strength for U.S. workers. Really? The president is now turning this rhetoric into action, and China is in the crosshairs. But why China? The U.S. had a multilateral trade deficit with 102 other countries and regions last year. So what's the real case? Multilateral trade deficits don't just appear out of thin air. They are a result of low domestic saving, as Stephen Roach, senior lecturer at Yale University, pointed out. And the U.S. has the weakest saving rate of any leading nation in modern times. This means that if it still wants to consume and grow, the U.S. has to import surplus saving from abroad and run massive current account deficits to attract foreign capital, leading directly to, and you guessed it, multilateral trade deficits. So going after China without addressing the root cause of low saving is like squeezing one end of a water balloon. The water just goes to the other end. Unfortunately, the problem is going from bad to worse, with President Trump signing a tax cut of $1.5 trillion over the next 10 years, and with the Congress adding another $300 billion to the federal deficit. Pressures on domestic saving will only intensify. The increasing disconnect between fiscal policy and trade policy for a saving-deficient U.S. economy will lead to widening trade deficits, just as the U.S. turns protectionist. Let's go back to reality. The U.S. Commerce Department said in early April that its trade deficit increased to a near-decade high in February as both exports and imports rose to new heights, though the shortfall with China narrowed sharply. In other words, any U.S. trade diverted from China will simply go to a higher-cost producer somewhere else in the world, which translates to the functional equivalent of a tax hike for U.S. consumers. So how do we avert this looming disaster? Firstly, we can talk more, we can agree to invest, because China's market offers enormous potential for U.S. corporations. Chinese President Xi Jinping said in Boao Forum for Asia that opening up brings progress, while protectionism leads to backwardness. And the U.S. market is a magnet of opportunity for Chinese capital, but only if its government does the right thing. The U.S. also needs to take the politics out of the analytics. The blame game is a foil for ducking domestic responsibility. So seriously, who wants a trade war? No one I know. Everybody loses. Thank you for watching this episode of Pacific Dialogue. See you next time.